Hello and welcome to another episode from HenRefurb. This episode I'm going to be working on the chassis. I'm going to be taking anything I can get off the chassis, so I'll be taking the fuel lines off, the brake lines off, any brackets that I can unbolt easily enough. By the end of this episode I'm hoping that I'll just have a chassis, four wheels and an engine, and then next episode I'll look at taking the engine off. I'm planning on leaving the wheels on because that will help me keep the chassis mobile so that I can actually work on it. So, stay tuned. Okay, so first up is the exhaust system. Okay, so next up is the fuel tank and the fuel line that goes all the way to the front. I need to find out if the fuel tank needs draining first. I'm not sure how much fuel is in it, so here goes. Should get away with that. Leave the fuel tank full of fuel. Here's the fuel gauge. In the tank is a piece of cork on a metal rod, and in the gauge there's some gears that drives the needle. But I mean, you can't see anything in there at all. And this cap here is supposed to undo, but that's going to be interesting getting that off when I try that. It would be very nice to have a working fuel gauge though, that would be cool. Now it's time to remove the wonkiest fuel line in the whole world. It would be very nice to straighten that up before we put it back on. Just going to pull the fuel tank brackets off here. There we go. Next thing to do is remove the bump stops here from the chassis, and then a couple of clips and brackets along the chassis. There's one. The other one I'm really struggling with because the nuts have rotten away, so they're too small for the correct size spanner and they're too big for the spanner down, and they're virtually round anyway, so might have to just cut them off. I got the second one off, just had to use some mole grips. Now for the first bracket. Well, I managed to get 3 of those brackets off up the front okay. It's just this one hiding in here, which is just... it's so old. I'm going to have a go at draining the brake system now so that I can get all of the pipes off for that. This is my brake bleeding pot to catch all the fluid that comes out. Okay, so that's just air coming out of that one now. So the brake system is now empty, I can start disconnecting it all now. There's the brake master cylinder and pedal. Now I'm going to undo the brake lines from the chassis. there's the horrible slimy master cable for the brakes, which runs under the engine. More brackets to remove now. That's the earthing strap for the battery. There's a little brake pipe joint there that I've just taken off. Now taking the spare wheel bracket off. I have a feeling I might have to get the engine out before I can get the steering off. I can't see any lifting points whatsoever on this engine, so I'm going to have to be a bit imaginative. Okay, well, the engine's out now, so there we go. It's just the steering shaft to do now. I'm really not sure how I'm going to get this steering lever off. It's on a spline and none of my pullers seem to be strong enough to pull it off it. That's the light switch that lives on the bottom of the steering column. It's controlled by a rod that goes the whole way through. Here's the enormous light switch lever. Oh, and the horn button is in the middle of that, and there's a wire that runs the whole way through it. And that's the hand throttle lever that also runs through the middle of the column. Just trying to work out what I've got to take off to get the column off the steering box, because I can't get that steering lever off. I've tried really hard. This bit's not going well. I think I need to go and ask some people for some tips on this. Steering wheel is off. Just being careful with where you hit. Trouble is I don't want to break anything, so I'm being tentative, but apparently all it needed was a tap. I'm going to call it a day there, I think. I'm really happy with the progress made today. Really glad that I got the engine out as well, because I wasn't planning on doing that this episode. It's a shame about the steering column. I think that's going to take a bit more effort, maybe a bit of heat or something to remove it, but we'll do that on another episode. If you've got any questions or suggestions, pop them in the comments section below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.